our regularly scheduled meeting of July 13th to order. Let me please join us on the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag, States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. I do see 4 board members are here. Declare necessarily absent this morning. Councilman Drew Peterson. Your first consideration is the June the 22nd regular town board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I will abstain. I was absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Brittany, when you're ready, I ask you to introduce manifest number 13, please.
The Victortown Board has received manifest number 13 in the amount of $591,581.51 with the following accounts charged: General Townwide, General Outside Village, Highway Townwide, Victor Fire Protection, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you. And up on the screen, those that are in the range of or exceed $5,000, starting with payment number 1 to Barclay Damon. And there are chargebacks associated with this invoice. Payment to Excelis July retiree healthcare. Payment to Integrated System for the July hosting and server upgrades. Payment to Lincoln Financial for the July employee dental. Payment to Macedon Excavating for the Cobblestone Creek Phase 2. Payment to Midland Asphalt Townwide chip sealing. MVP Health for the July healthcare for our employees. Payment to New York State Comptrollers for the May court fees, which were collected. Payment to Timewise for the June cleaning services for our buildings. And payment to Van Bordeaux Ford for the new vehicle for the Parks and Rec Department. Total of the above mentioned expenditures is $509,152.86. Total town expenditures minus the previously mentioned expenditures above equals $82,428.65. Board members, any questions or comments on this morning's manifest 13?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we just under supervisor's report for the town record, I received a formal notice of retirement on Monday, July the 6th, effective July the 3rd, 2026 from Karen Bodine. And at the future meeting, July 27th, town board meeting, there'll be a workshop prior to starting at 6:30 p.m. regarding consideration to increase the sewer hookup fees. Mark Terrian from LaBelle will be leading the presentation virtually that evening. So that is all I have. And I think Councilwoman Alexis, you had a topic of conversation you wanted to bring forth.
Oh, I did. I wanted to make sure everyone had received the email I sent with the parental leave policy in it. And if you had all had a chance to review it, anyone had any questions, considerations, thoughts, something I'd like to adopt for our employees.
Well, I for one think it's great. I think it's important for parents to be able to spend time with their children when they're born or newly moved into the family.
Alexis, you mentioned in here research. Yes, comparables on page 2. Towns from Ontario and a variety of areas.
Yes, from Monroe and from Ontario.
So who else has it in Ontario County? In the towns?
Nobody.
Nobody? In Monroe County?
Not many. All something that's really kind of been put to the, I don't say the wayside, but it's not something that's been mandated to municipalities. So it's not something that really municipalities think about what's on our plates. You know, it's not something that it's at the forefront of their minds.
Right.
And to be honest, a lot of municipalities have an aging workforce. So it's not something that they have had to consider in the past, or they've made, you know, we kind of figure it out time by time, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But no one is really, a few have thought about opting into the state program that businesses are mandated to opt into. So, but it's a cost to your employees
Sure.
at that point. And it's a
Sure.
cost to your employees, or the municipality can take it on themselves. Whereas with this, it's, you know, similar to different agencies within the state, and you're not having the consistent cost on the payroll every 2 weeks. You're incurring, you know, what sort of cost you have on when employees actually leave from just their time standpoint.
Mhm. What have we done historically, Jack, during your tenure with, you know, disability stuff, taking care of an elderly parent, all that kind of stuff?
I do not.
And this would not be for
I know,
the family.
I know,
So if
I
people,
know.
Do you have any thoughts?
I don't know, because it hasn't happened since I've been here.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily opposed to it when I saw it. I did think the part-time was too generous. Meaning, I mean, most municipalities, even private sector, don't really have, I mean, when somebody comes on part-time, they're not expecting benefits. They're not expecting, I mean, you know, most companies, they work, you know, if you work 20 hours a week and you're not full-time, they're there for the hourly wage and, you know, they're not looking for benefits. So, you know, I don't want to make a decision on it. Obviously, today I want Drew to chime in on it. I want him to be here, but I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I just think that, you know, let's look at it a little deeper. Let's think about what the cost would be. Like you say, sometimes there might not be as much cost as you think. Other times it might be more, depending on who's going out and that kind of stuff. But I do know that certainly times have changed with both parents working and all that kind of stuff. We're certainly more cognizant of that today than, you know, 30, 40 years ago for sure. So those are my initial thoughts.
Part-time was the only thing I had some concern about.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into that, okay?
Yeah.
Get back, anticipate having Drew next meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. They're bringing that up. Okay, Councilwoman Tipton, you also had something you wanted to bring up.
I just had quick questions regarding a notice that I saw. See that Supervisor Inglesby is here, so I'm grateful for that. Just regarding the improvements that are needed for the water sewer treatment plant. Is this a new item? Is this something we've already been planning on needing to do? And if so, what are those plans?
I'll let the good supervisor respond to what he's got going.
So, Victor and Farmington both get notified when we had DEC inspections. There's at least an annual inspection. Now, you know, they give you like a week's notice or something. We've both been on a consent order for years. We're hoping that,
2020.
pardon?
2020.
Thank you, yeah. And we're hoping that is passed, that we've met all the requirements. It mostly was spills and overflows at pump stations and the lines between the pump stations and the treatment plant. Very seldom anything involving the plant. Our last total renovation was in the 2014, 2015 timeframe. And those bonds are paid off between this year and 2028. So about 2 years ago, we had a digester down. A year and a half ago, we had a final clarifier down. And so we had our engineers look at the whole plant Originally, the other thing was the sand filter system, which was the final system before UV treatment, and then the water goes to the local creek. That sand filtration system, there are no parts for that anymore. So that hasn't operated in like a year. With the UV system and controlling chemicals throughout the plant system, we haven't had too many red flags with the DEC on the testing and the sampling, but there are some. So that was the last 2 annual write-ups from the DEC is, hey, you need to fix the filtration system, and they tooled as clarifiers. Last year, we ordered the parts for the clarifier that's down. It has a protective aluminum lining around the tank that we totally pulled out last year, waiting for parts. They finally got here a week or 2 ago. So our own staff is reassembling that, and then they found out they're missing some parts. So that's another story. But anyways, we're going to bring that one clarifier back online. We still want to replace the electric motor on the top and the arms that's part of the clarifier system. So in 2025, we did an engineering study, what it would cost for the 2 final clarifiers and the filtration system, and what type of filtration system is out there, because we also have to worry about the EPA and DEC on PFAS. And we gotta, if we're gonna spend the money, try to get something that would reduce or totally eliminate the PFAS before it goes back out to the local creek. So that was like a $6.5–7 million estimate. This year, 2 engineers from MRB, along with our new chief plant operator, who's been here less than a year, and our water and sewer superintendent, did a total walk of the whole treatment plant. And in a perfect world, the work that they wanted to do is $14.7 million. So we did a public hearing announcement last meeting, town board meeting. We had 2 resolutions. We're going to go out for the WQIP grant and the WIA grant and see if we're successful in that. I'll leave that. I have maps here, Jack. So the blue or the reddish color there is what was the original $6.5 million grant, and then the blue is the $14.7 million if we were to do everything in the project. There's a copy of the legal notice and the 2 resolutions in the file. I also included a portion of the preliminary engineering report. So this is the cost breakdown and how we get to that $14.7 million. 2 million of that is contingency in case the project goes over. There's also the cost for a 30-year loan and a 20-year loan here also. We have a July 2026 State Environmental Quality Review. This is the full assessment form, the EAF, and the supporting documentation that I'll leave with you also, part of the environmental review of the plant, what we're proposing. Based on what MRB told us, we're better off asking for everything in the grant and then see what we get for grant money and then what we can afford. Currently in the budget we don't have any tax on the sewer side. It's all user fees. So currently in the budget, we're a little over 900,000 a year paying off the current bond for the plant. And as I mentioned earlier, some of it goes away this year, but the rest of it goes away in 2028. So that 900 and some thousand would be used for the new grant in the new project. Try and close the gap. We don't, even if we're awarded November timeframe with these grants, that the real money isn't going to be needed till 28 anyways, but we can get through the 27 for the initial startup costs and the engineering and all that stuff. And also to go with that is a 266-page preliminary engineering report. Originally done May of 25, revised July of 25. We revised it again in May of this year and June of this year. And that's got everything that we considered 4 options. Option 1, don't do anything, which we can't do. And then option 2 is basically what you see in the red. Option 3 was a little combination of red and blue, and option 4 is a full blowout of 14.7 million estimated project. So we're basically going to go with the grants for the option 4. In here is detailed reports of all the vendors they reached out to. Pumps, gas, clarifier, parts, all that stuff that the DEC is part of it. So the letters of support. For the grants, we do have over 20 letters of support, including Supervisor Marion for the project. So the first grant is due 27th July, and the next one is, I think, into August for the second time frame. So, and you never know when they're awarded, but normally the governor likes to award them just before election time. So, any questions?
So there's no capacity issues at this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
This is all about the upgrades within the sewer treatment plant, just for the day-to-day functions and what it does.
Correct.
And to the supervisor's point, a number of years ago, the DEC slapped both communities on the hand here, and we ended up the fine based on County Road 9 break, and that's why certainly we're looking forward to certainly the money coming from Congressman Morelli, so we could do another extension or swap out old pipe for new pipe down there. So, any questions you have any questions?
I think I'm okay for right now. Thank you for that detailed explanation. I appreciate it.
Yep. We just our Brickyard Road water tank was over a $10-12 million project, and we just went out for bond sales, had 7 bidders last week. So the encouraging thing for this project is the interest rate came in at 4.74% interest, and we were always figuring 5.25% as far as our budget on the water side. So we're hoping when we do go out to bid for this that we'll be under 5%.
Do you have a grant writer, Pete, or do you contract that with like MRI?
We do some ourselves with Ron Brand, and then there's a staff at MRB that works with us for writing grants.
Yeah.
The other thing on the sewer, just to bring up to date, every county had a infrastructure grant competition that would leaning towards housing. So 2 years ago, City of Geneva got that grant, and we were number 2 on the list. This was a team from Ontario County selected to pick the winners. This year, we concentrated more, give them more information. There was 3 other one city and 2 other towns that applied. And we came out number 1 in the March, April timeframe. It was at least that much paperwork submitted through Ontario County for Empire State Development. And we thought we were all good to go around the 1st of June. 30 June, we get a list through Ontario County through Tom Harvey. 30 June, and Tom Harvey retired 2 July. We get a list of 5 more items they wanted us to get to them before 10 July. So we were able to get 3 in, and then the 4th and the 5th, we really didn't understand. So before Tom retired, he went back and asked to give us a sample, what are you talking about, right? And we were able to submit that on Friday through Julie Berry at the Ontario County Planning Department, who Julie and Tim Jensen are kind of running that department right now until the new director gets on board. So that's to upgrade the sewer, 2.1 million, Finger Lakes Gaming Racetrack, pump station out front. Right now, that sewer goes down 96 to the plant in front of the plaza and the Tops Plaza and the other commercial along 96. So we're going to divert that, go down Beaver Creek Road, hook into the main transmission line to give us more capacity when Tops Plaza gets developed and the property to the east of there, that ever gets developed, there'll be sewer capacity there by diverting the current sewer. And also there's 40 homes on 96 that are part of this upgrade for pump station 1. On the west side on Retensia Road and high rain events, we do have backup on that line going to the transmission line. We do have backup on that sewer line in front of the park and a few residentials into Doe-Haven subdivision, where we've had raw sewage and basement. It's never good. So that's also part of this grant, around $360,000 to $400,000 cost to run a second sewer line down there and take some of that load off from the line, get into the transmission line that eventually comes to the tank. So that's another grant that we're hopefully going to get. Don't know when that's going to be awarded either.
Sounds like what he just described is similar to what we did a few years ago to expand capacity within the system by doing reversing from Wendy's and going back along the trail system. So, yeah. Do you have any questions over there? Okay, thank you.
We try to keep Keith informed. He's at all our.
See you at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Would you like your paperwork back? I mean,
No, well, if you don't want the 266 pages, I'll leave everything else with you. But you can have that too.
anyone want a seeker? Yeah. We'll keep the maps.
All right.
Supervisor, thank you for your participation today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We do the same thing. We have Public Works at 7 o'clock in the morning and Town Operations at 9 o'clock in the morning. 2 of the board members are assigned to each of those committees. And hopefully we're out of there by 10 o'clock. Public Works lasts about an hour and a half normally, and Town Ops about an hour. But thank you for your time.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay, at this time, board members, any further comments?
See you again.
Hey, good to see you.
Okay. Motion to go into executive session for rule number 2, the medical, financial credit or employment history of particular persons. Number 3 is to propose acquisition, sale, lease of real property when publicity might affect value.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, we need Frank Pavia. Years, Richard O'Donnell, and Keith Maynard. Everyone else is excused.